Thanksgiving 2007. I was an intern at Yale working the overnight Thanksgiving shift when I snapped this shot of my team as we had Thanksgiving feast in between patients on the only places we could find to sit, which were some extra ER stretchers. That was my first holiday working and being away from my family. And while I've done that a lot of times since, I still remember how that felt. And I was reminded of that as I think of so many of you who will be away from your own families this holidays. And I wanted to give you some tips. And I thought, what better way than to get tips from people who are in professions where they are accustomed to being away from their families for the holidays. And y'all, I have some amazing stories from people from first responders and doctors and nurses and firefighters and a freight train conductor and military service members as well. And their stories are amazing. And I thought that as we go into this Thanksgiving that will no doubt be different, that you would like to hear their stories as well, to help you find ways to make this Thanksgiving memorable in all the good ways and to make it special. So let's dive in. This first photo is from Dr. Amy Makosi Cho. You see, it's Amy working the overnight shift over Christmas with Santa Claus, but there's actually a backstory to it. And this gentleman had actually had his life saved in that hospital in the past. So he makes it his point of coming in every Christmas to say hello and brighten the shift of all the employees and patients who are there in the ER that night. It's about finding the meaning, even in sometimes imperfect situations like working the overnight Christmas shift. This photo I have here is from Dr. Jim Williams, and this is all about celebrating with those that you have around you and celebrating them and the work you do. You'll see this photo is of him and his team as they're working in the emergency department. Dr. Williams will actually shared with me that he'll be working in the ER this Thanksgiving. So when you are with whomever you are going to be celebrating with, think of Dr. Williams and his team and the many teams nationwide who are going to be working so that you can be home with your family. Now, Dr. Williams did share a very important tip. He did say that one year when his wife brought in the turkey, they forgot to bring a knife. And he said, make sure that when you do a Thanksgiving potluck, you bring a knife to carve the turkey because a 10-blade scalpel just doesn't cut it, literally. Good lessons from Dr. Williams. Now, another lesson that we have from the emergency department is to find the humor wherever you can. And y'all know I'm an ER doctor. Nothing is off limits as an ER doctor. And I have this photo here from Dr. Ryland Salisbury of the year that they made a reindeer using a bedpan, tongue depressors, and a speculum. He said that the highlight was when they got it to start playing jingle bells. I didn't ask him how they made it work, but apparently they did. It's about finding humor and brightening the day of those around you, even in an imperfect situation. Now, I want to move away from the emergency department to talk about some stories I got from other first responders. I had one woman message me that her brother is a first responder and she's a nurse, and they're going to be eating dinner over FaceTime. I had another woman who said that her husband's a fireman, so they go to the fire station together. She said, just to visit my husband. Nothing special, just moments together. There are other careers that you may not have even thought of. One woman messaged me saying that my husband is a freight train conductor. She said, holidays don't exist on the railroad. For us, it's not the day on the calendar, but when they can be together in whatever form they can be. That reminds me of all the other employees who will be working on all the holidays. And I just want to give a big thanks to everybody out there who does that. Now, lastly, I want to shift to talk about some of our military service members and stories that they shared with me, because they are farther from their families for far longer, much longer periods of time. I spoke to Lance Corporal Brendan Cooney. He said he had done 2 deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan, and each time missed Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. And he said what was really important was celebrating with those that you had with you. And he said it was about keeping your traditions. I think this is really important, no matter what we're doing this holiday season, to make sure that you are keeping those traditions and honoring those moments. And he said, one year, as you can see in this picture, they baked a whole bunch of pies on a grill. There's a lot of pies there. They look pretty good. Is it another year for the holidays? They had frozen quesadillas, and he was very specific about this. I think it was kind of a big moment for him. He said they had Otis Spunkmeyer chocolate muffins. He was pretty candid. He told me he downed 5 of them. So it was a good moment. He said, it's about keeping your traditions alive, even if they are different, but keeping them alive. He said the other thing was gratitude, which is not what I expected to hear from him when he was talking about his deployments. He said it was gratitude and realizing how they had taken for granted all those other holidays and they had been home to be with their families, and gratitude and hope for holidays that they could be again together. I said, did you go around in a gratitude circle? He said, no, it was a whole bunch of Marines in the desert. There's a lot more foul language, but we did share. We did share those moments and those memories and those traditions and things for which we were grateful in our own way. Also heard from Sergeant Case Booth, who was similarly overseas deployed. And he said during the holidays, he had messaged me saying during the holidays away from families, the biggest thing was the support from families, reminding us that what we were doing was not forgotten and that we were still in their thoughts during those times. How important is that to us as we're all distanced from each other right now? And then lastly, I heard from Private First Class Miguel Cortez. And this is in keeping with keeping those traditions alive. He said that one year they got a care package of all sorts of Christmas decorations. So you'll see the photo where they decorated their tent with all their Christmas decor. He also said what was wonderful, we're getting care packages, even of little things, with socks, books, toothpaste, candy, snacks. He said, it's a reminder that the people back home were thinking about us, and that gave us motivation. Why do I share these stories with you? Besides the fact that I think you'll really love them as much as I did, it's because Thanksgiving is not about the where or the what we do, but about the who is important to us, and how we let them know it, and the why that it matters. So I challenge you this year to make this Thanksgiving memorable. It's going to be memorable. Make it memorable for a good reason, because I want you to make your equivalent of care packages of small items for loved ones that you can't be with, or phone calls or Zoom calls with those same loved ones so that they know they are not forgotten and you can connect with each other. I challenge you to find those moments of levity and make your equivalent of the reindeer with the bedpan and the tongue depressors. How can you get your family to laugh, to have moments that you are together, whether that's on a family Zoom call doing trivia about specific personal family trivia? And do you remember that time when? Or a family night of win, lose, or draw, or taboo, or a dance party. Make some new traditions this year. Your family is going to remember this. Your children, if you have children, are going to remember this Thanksgiving. Let's make it one worth remembering. I'll be doing another post this week about other ways that you can make this Thanksgiving special, so keep a lookout for that as well. And let me know, how are you planning to keep this Thanksgiving special this year? Put it in the comments below. Let me know. I always love to hear from you. I also just want to say thank you to everyone who will be away from their family this holiday or other holidays, and say thank you for being away from your family so that the rest of us can get to be with ours. Thank you. I wish you, your family, wherever they may be, a safe, a healthy, and yes, a happy Thanksgiving this year. Stay well, take care of yourself, and take care of each other. I'm Dr. Daria, and I'll talk to you next time.